I can't work out is you're 10-1, Sydney are 5-4, and the bookies have got the Kings favourites. How does that work?
I don't know. I'm not a gambler, and I don't really pay much attention to what the bookies are saying. I think our record speaks for itself. But in saying that, Sydney are very, very talented. We can't take them for granted. Their record probably doesn't reflect how talented of a team they are, and I think the losses that they do have probably came with a few teething problems at the start of the season, and they're definitely rolling now. But I think we're playing pretty well as well, and we got some bodies back now.
You guys are making a habit of taking games into overtime. That must be a bit stressful.
Well, yeah, I've only played in one of those, but I've had the unfortunate misfortune of having to watch them, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty stressful watching from home. So hopefully it's the last overtime game. But if we have to go into overtime to win, then so be it.
Are you right to start now and get most of the game, or where are you at with your minutes?
I think I'm still coming off the bench. It's only my second game back, so I'll come off the bench. Tommy's doing a fantastic job starting, so I'm sure as long as he's still doing a great job, I'm happy to come off the bench and contribute. If in any way I can.
Bogut's obviously going to be the challenge for the two of you, but what do you expect?
He expected to be a tough matchup. He's really starting to roll. He's the leading rebounder in the league at the moment. He's their team's leading assist holder, I believe. So he's doing a little bit of everything, and then he's a bit of a force to stop on the block as well. So it's a challenge, and it's one that Tommy and myself are going to embrace.
How exciting is it to get these opportunities to come against a genuine bona fide gun of the world?
Yeah, it's fantastic. This is what you play basketball for, to be able to test yourself against the best. And Bogut's a guy who was in his prime when I was a bit younger. So he's a guy that I've looked up to. So to have the chance to play against him is fantastic.
Have you crossed paths at all?
I've met him when I was in high school. I met him once. So after an NBA game, he was nice enough to come out and say good day to me.
You stepped up from big occasion against Melbourne personally. You're always a bloke who tends to thrive on the challenges. You must be looking forward to this then.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in Sydney as well, in front of home crowd, and family will be in the crowd. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Do you expect to have Bryce?
At this point, I think he's day to day. That's out of my hands. I'll leave it up to the medical staff to make those decisions.
Did he do much today at all?
I think he did a bit of fitness. I think he was getting some shots up, but we'll see day to day.
Must be nice to see him actually with a ball in his hand then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see Bryce with the ball in his hand and moving around.
And Damo running as well. That looks like he's right to go.
Yeah, I believe so. He was in training for the full session today. So I think he's good to go.
And Tarico on ice after the game, is that a common practice? I haven't seen it before.
On ice? What do you?
Ice on his knee.
Oh, I don't know, mate. I'm not the physio on the team.
I'm not saying he's a drug taker.
No. I don't know. He might have just had a bit of soreness. I think ice, doesn't always indicate an injury. Sometimes it's more for recovery and just looking after yourself than anything seriously wrong.
You head over tomorrow, so it's a bit of earlier preparation to catch up with the guys who are already over there. Is it good to have, after having a prolonged period out, to get back with the group in camp sort of situation? Yeah,
I think it's going to be good for Nick and Mitch. They're not going to have to fly all the way back to Perth and then turn around the very next day and fly all the way back to Sydney. It's 2 very long flights, and it's going to be rough on their body. So it's good that we can go over there a day early. They just have to fly up from Melbourne, and then we can come back together as a group, have a training session down there in Sydney, and then get going on Thursday night.
What do you make of Sydney specifically, though?
Yeah, like I've said, they're talented across the board. You got Bogut, big. You got Randall bringing the ball up. Then you got Kevin Lish, Daniel Kickett, Brad Newley. The list goes on. So Dave Ware, he can step out and shoot a little bit as well. So I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. They've just got talent across the board. So we're going to have to be switched on with the matchups and know our personnel down to the finest detail.
You also had Melbourne here, going away for Sydney. Is this the toughest challenge you would have had so far? Or is going to New Zealand tougher, or how do you view things?
Mate, we've had a few challenges this year. We've had a few. The guys have done a fantastic job when myself and Damo and Tarico, when we were all injured and they went to New Zealand, got the win, and then flew back and got the win here. I think maybe that's probably the biggest challenge of the season so far. Maybe going to Cairns with 3 guys down and getting the win there. Cairns is always a tough environment. I don't think they're record is reflective of how talented they are. So I mean, there's a number you can choose from in this season so far, but you know, from day one, this group's had really high chemistry, and I think it's shown so far in the season that we've been able to get through some of these challenging times, and you know, when the adversity raises its head, we've sort of been able to play our best basketball.